In other videos, we've seen how Russian distinguishes between several kinds of indefiniteness. When we refer to something that's not at all specific, that may not even exist, we use нибудь. Скажи что-нибудь по-русски. Кто-нибудь знает об этом? When we talk about something specific, whether or not we can identify it, we use то with question words. Почему так холодно? Кажется, кто-то открыл окно. But we can distinguish yet another kind of indefiniteness. Я тебе кое-что купил. С днем рождения. In this first example, we may know or we may not know who opened the window. But here, when I say кое-что, I definitely do know what I bought. I'm just not telling you right away. And this is a very common context for using Goya with a question word, when the speaker has something specific in mind and can even identify what it is, but chooses not to at the moment for one reason or another. Let's look at some more examples. Мне надо быть кое-где через час. Я забыла, я должна кое-кому позвонить. Я тоже хочу предложить кое-какие перемены. Мне нужно было кое о чем его спросить. So, кое can be used with a number of question words, just like то and нибудь. And also, just like то and нибудь, if we have a preposition, it'll come in between кое and the question word. Кое о чем. And кто, какой, and что will decline, but the form of кое never changes. Let's think a little more about how we use кое versus то. When we use то, the speaker might not be able to identify something specifically, as in this example, кто-то открыл окно. Or the speaker might be able to. Я там что-то купил, приготовил закуску. But we've also just said that when the speaker knows the identity of something, we might hear кое. Я тебе кое-что купил. С днем рождения. So there can be some overlap between то and кое when you can identify something. So what is the difference then between, say, кто-то and кое-кто? Well, expressions with то might be considered the default form. And this chart from Google's Ngram viewer suggests that forms with то are much more common than expressions with кое. We're more likely to hear кое when the speaker has a reason not to identify something right away, or might be introducing a topic and then going on to give more information, like in these examples. Мне надо тебе сказать кое-что. Пойдем в комнату, холодно. Знаете, Володя, сказал Мышкин, давайте сядем, и я вам кое-что расскажу. And here's an example from the film «Ирония судьбы», where Nadya begins an awkward conversation with Ипполит.
Ипполит, я должна тебе кое-что сообщить.
Что?
В это невозможно поверить.
А что такое?
Ты умрешь со смеху. Короче говоря, я прихожу домой.
Ипполит does not yet know what's going on, but Nadya does know, and she starts out with кое-что before beginning her explanation. Я должна тебе кое-что сообщить. Expressions with кое sometimes have an additional nuance, a kind of distributive meaning, the sense of a few, more than one, some indefinite plural. For example, кое-где can mean in various places, here and there. Кое-когда can mean occasionally, from time to time. Кое-где уже шел снег. Она мне кое-когда уступает, а я ей. Вот прочитал 11 книг, научился кое-чему. And it's worth noting that кое-как can have the nuance of doing something with difficulty or carelessly. Жили они бедно, кое-как сводили концы с концами. Summing up, most often we use то with a question word to refer to something specific. But if we can identify something but choose not to at the moment, we can use Goya with a question word. The form of Goya never changes, but the question words что, кто, and какой will decline. A preposition comes in between Goya and the question word. Goya о чем, Goya с кем. And sometimes Goya has the sense of a few, more than one.